very fast. Okay, good evening once again. So we're going to start first with the dollar index. I'm going to start with the dollar index, and then after that we look at Euro USD. Okay, so remember last weekly analysis we talked about dollar index trading on an order block, which was right here. Okay, we talked about this other block, and also we mentioned that price also have an unfilled fair value gap here. But then we said we expect at least a reaction from here due to the way price have actually been expanding to the upside. So we had that nice reaction from this other block after price formed this nice swing point, making this candle a CRT, and then we had price closing below, and then which turning in now to another block for lower prices, taking out all this inducement liquidity, trendline liquidity right down here. Now, at this point, let's go back to the weekly time frame and see what we have. Now, on the weekly time frame, we have closed heavily bearish, but remember we are actually in a bullish market, and also I spotted this. Remember the fair value gap is on this one. Let me just put it. We have 1 day. See this. Okay, and then we have this weekly candle here, which we also say price can likely come back. Price would like to retest this particular candle. Now, price did not touch it. Okay, so we have this weekly order block now to look out for. So this is our support. Those who are following up closely, you must have heard me giving you qualities of a good order block. Either it fills liquidity or it takes out liquidity and stuff like that. Now, this actually filled out this liquidity, also testing these highs right here. And then we have this form. So we have another block here to look at for, so which means there's a potential that this can become even a weekly CRT for us, which means price can take the low back up to taking the high into that fair value gap that we spotted, right? Now, until this bullish PDRA is broken, we are still bullish on the dollar index. So which means that if price comes right down to maybe closing below this low, then we can now start to look for more sales on the dollar index. But for now, we are still very much bullish, and we have this bullish PDRA right here on the discount of this trading range. If you look here, if I use my Fibonacci from this low right up to this point, you see that we are trading right down to the 618 and the 705 level. So this is a very sensitive area for us to expect bullish prices on the dollar index throughout this week. And also, unfortunately, there is no fair value gap in between these two candles, even though we have expected it precisely to come down to that area. But for now, where we can see is the opening of this other block. That's where we might likely have price trading down to before we have that sensitive move back to the upside. So we can do something like this. Let's try to refine this area now on the daily chart. All right, bringing it down to the daily chart, we have this other block right here, this one, right? This is the accumulation before the move to the upside. All right, so we have also this daily other block right here, which is aligning with the weekly order block opening price. Okay, and then we also have this other block here. So this is for the weekly. For the daily time frame, we have these two key levels right here. This other block and then this one. All right, so these are the two other blocks on the daily time frame that we have, which means we can have a reaction from this one. or price comes right down to this one. Okay. This one also, it's really a high probability of that block because it aligns with the daily, with the weekly order block as well. So price can likely start buying from here. Okay. Price can start likely buying from here, which means maybe we're going to take out this Friday's low, which is also the weekly low, and then they will trade the weekly candle as a CRT, just like I mentioned, which is Monday's high and this is Friday's low. Let's see, this one is Friday's low. All right, that's our Friday's low, and then this is our Monday's high. So we have the Monday's high, and then we have the Friday's low. So price takes out this Friday's low and give us a nice reaction out of this other block, probably closing above this candle. Then we know that okay, we have confirmed movements to move back to the upside. So which means if we have something like this, price close above this, then we can have the weekly continue to expand higher. Okay, that would be what I'll be expecting. I would love to see good price action here on the 4-hour time frame within this other block. If not, I will have to wait because price can likely take out this other block as an inducement to react to this other one down. Okay. And this other one, remember we say this is our invalidation. And this other block too is a good one because it did took out this liquidity. And then this one, it actually also filled out this old high here. So these are two valid POIs, but the first one is really good. It just depends. Maybe on Monday, if there's some high, we're going to check if there's some high impact news, we might just have a spike down to this other block, all right, and then price moves higher. It is very possible that that should happen too. But then we have to look out for this we have good price reaction from this first order block. We are going to start buying to the upside. All right. Now, it is always good to check your higher time frames. If not, we will be considering this to be breakout structure and to have more lower prices. And it's the same thing, like a lot of people identify this to be a bearish order block to have more lower prices. It can still happen, but this is against the overall higher time frame direction, right? Because I think if we go to, let's look at the monthly for the moment. Now, we're expecting more higher prices. Let's look at something like 3 months. So 3 months time frame. Okay. So when you look at the 3 months chart, something like this, you see that we are heavily bullish on US dollar. Then we have this high. Let me change this color. It's likely with the price, but I want to retest that. So let's go down to monthly time frame of this. Okay. Now this is the monthly time frame, and this is where the high of that other block is. This particular fair value gap is going to be a breakaway fair value gap, which means price is not supposed to fill it at this moment. So we're expecting more higher prices, but still we can retest this high, right? If we're testing this high, it means price is actually coming down to the second order block on the daily time frame, as we pointed out. So there's a possibility that we can have price come down to this second order block first, this second one before moving higher. All right, so that's it for the dollar index. Let's just try to put in Euro USD and then see what it has for us too. Let's start from the monthly perspective. Now, also, this is a very big XMT on Euro USD and DXY because we see DXY closing below this candle, okay? And then Euro USD not taking out that candle. I mean, on the previous month. Monday did not, Euro USD, December candle did not close below the November candle. So this shows a lot of SMT showing that Euro USD is trying to move higher. It's having that strength to continue higher. And then on the monthly, we have this fair value gap. We could also say this is a CRT, but I don't expect that this early because I still suspect more lower prices for this Euro USD. Okay, but still, we are going to drop down as day traders want to see. All right, now this is the same thing we saw on DXY. We had this candle, which I said is a very it's a unique candle, which price will likely want to test. Then price has started buying back heavily. This is the monthly fair value that we have here, and also this is the weekly order block, same like we saw on DXY. All right, already after we test of this area, we have that order block. So daily time frame. Okay, so on DXY we had two other blocks, which was this one on Euro USD, and then this one as well. All right. So Euro USD is really heavily bullish. So we have this liquidity grab and we have this fair value gap here. Now, if you look closely here, you'll notice that with the way Euro USD is moving, we are likely to come up to this high. Why? Because before DXY can, if DXY wants to come right down to this second order block, all right? If DXY wants to come right down to this second order block, we'll have to see Euro USD trading up to this fair value gap because the way it is moving, we have already traded almost invalidating this first order block. Meanwhile, on the XY, price was simply still just trying to approach it. All right. Now, also, this shows that DXY is strong because DXY is not really pushing that lower, right? And since DXY is not pushing lower, same like Euro pushing higher, this means there's an SMT and DXY is gaining back its strength, right? And if DXY is getting its strength, it means Euro USD is looking for a stop point. So there's a possibility that we can be taking out this high on Euro USD if at all we want to see the XY trade down to the second order block. But if not, then we'll have price play around here and then we continue back lower. Okay. That is it. And then also you could say this is a trend line liquidity all around this area. So price can likely it is I would say that price can likely be taken out that high, obviously. The daily, we had a fair value gap on the daily. What was it? This one. That's our daily C. So let's see how price plays around here this week. Like I said, we can have a buy on the DXY from this first order block. And if that's to happen, then we're going to have Euro USD respecting this Euro USD respecting this bearish order block. Okay, let's see. Maybe we can have something like a trend line. There's no clear trend line from here. This is looking good. All right. So we can likely have price play around here, they will continue lower on Euro USD. Or remember, if price wants to fill out the second order block on the DXY, then we want to expect we'll be looking at price coming up to fill this fair value gap before any lower prices. But I don't really want to see price close above this high. If it close above this high, this is like a major high we have here. That will be like price want to come right up to this candle's high, right? This CRT high. Remember, I said the only reason why I don't consider this to be a strong CRT is because major key level price did not really hit it that way, but still, there's a possibility that this can be a CRT. All right. Now, a tip for you: high probability CRTs they happen on swing highs and swing lows. Like for example, we have this as a swing low, we have this as a swing high. Okay. This is a swing low and a swing high. You can see we have CRT here and then we have CRT. Most high probability CRT will happen on swing highs. Same like this one here. This was a swing high and then this candle became a CRT and stuff like that. And then also this was a swing low and then we had that CRT form around that area. So what I'm simply saying is this can likely become a CRT, but I don't expect that to happen. Still can be, which means price might even likely go up to that point before we continue lower. But as day traders, let's see what we are currently looking at. So we have this area as an area of resistance where price can likely start selling back from, right? So which means tomorrow or this week, we can be taking out this Friday's high and then having to trade back lower. That's Euro USD. Let's look at the okay, good. Now, GBP USD 1 week time frame. We had price starting trading back up from this other block, and we are pushing heavily back to the upside. Let's look at the monthly time frame. Monthly time frame reacting up from this other block. I think this how the monthly candle will close here will give us more clues on the XY whether it's going to come back up to fill this monthly fair value gap. Weekly time frame, we have this high price looks like it's haunting, but we have this bearish PDRE, so you can expect prices up to this fair value gap, taking out this CRT high, and then for more lower prices. Okay. So now, good. That's basically it. So we have this other block which can support price to continue lower after we take out this high. Let's see daily time frame. Okay. All right. So the other block we have this swing high, which is a daily CRT high, which makes it like an inducement into that key level, and we can try to find the area into these two bullish candles. There should be our area of other block. Price will tested this area. These two other blocks is one other block on the weekly time frame. All right. So other blocks, most of the time, it's not just a single candle, as so many of you know. Okay. So we can have price flare up to that area, and then we have more lower prices. So which means this other block here might likely just be an inducement other block, right? I mean, price will likely want to take this high, this relative equal highs here into this other block area before lower prices. And let's see, looks like price hasn't actually, okay, we actually retested that high. Okay, but there's still a possibility price might want to come right up into that candle. before lower prices. Okay, so but overall we are bearish, and let's see what happens. Let's see how this relative equal lows down here, because this fair value gap as we analyzed the last time. So let's look at gold. Gold is moving higher, like we did explain the other time. Remember, I said if this was okay. This was Friday, and then I can remember telling you guys that if we close above below this candle, then we want to see more lower prices, but we are expecting higher prices from there. All right, price had to retest the other block, filling out this fair value gap, and then we have higher prices from there. Price fill this internal range liquidity to external range liquidity. So this high is likely going to be taken out, though this was a very clean order block area, but it doesn't look like it when you move to higher time frames, like even the monthly chart. When you look at the monthly time frame, it doesn't look like price should respect that order block. So we have internal range liquidity to external range liquidity. Price is moving higher to make an all-time high on gold. So price is likely going to take out this high, which is this other block on the daily time frame. Now, also, there's a possibility that we can have a quick retracement before that should happen. All right, it doesn't just mean price will just come up right here, up here, and then just grab everything. Sometimes there is always that inducement that will form, right? The market will always have to induce more traders to come into the opposite side of the market to provide liquidity. All right, so maybe we'll have something like this, price trades back down to this other block, and then we'll get higher prices from there. Okay. All right, that's for gold. Let's look at Nasdaq. All right, so Nasdaq still bullish. Friday we had a massive pushback to the downside. Okay, so price traded back up to this area of other block right up here. And then we had that push back to the downside. Let's look at the daily or weekly time frame. So when you look at the weekly time frame, you can bear with me that we are heavily still bullish on Nasdaq, right? Price is meant to make higher prices. If you look at something like this, you can see that we are having bullish prices. We had a close above this, so prices should continue higher from there to take out the all-time high. Going down to the daily time frame, we had Friday a reversal, which is actually what I was expecting. Okay, a TGIF setup. So we have this fair value gap and we have the retest of this high. So there's a likelihood we can trade back down to retest that high before we continue higher, which also aligns with this volume gap and then fair value gap. So this is a key area for Nasdaq to trade back down to before we have higher prices. US 30, US 30, same thing, higher, more higher prices. Okay, let's see weekly time frame. All right, US 30 is still massively bullish, pushing higher. We now have this other block here. We get a retest of it, and then we continue higher. Okay, daily. All right, so this area, we bring it down to this fair value gap here. Then higher prices. CAD GPY. CAD GPY price has been consolidating. All this while, no major move has happened yet. So throughout this week, this was Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So we actually had a contraction week. Okay, price did not actually move on either side, so we expected this pullback to the downside before that move, and then price took out this really low, close back higher, so which means likely this week we'll be having to target this really high and more higher prices, right up to coming back up to this fair value gap. Okay, but remember, like I said, there's a likelihood that this guy can just start dropping if price wants to close below this trend line liquidity, all right? Because if price starts to close below that, it means we are grabbing this trend line liquidity and we'll likely grab right down to the origin of that trend line, right? So, and that will mean price will not fill the 7 gap. So, if that should happen, then we'll have to, as we are expecting this other block, let's just say, let me go down to the weekly. Okay, good. Now, looking at this here closely, all right, if price on Monday or Tuesday close below this bullish candle, if we close below this bullish candle, we are going to have lower prices. All right, we're going to have lower prices, and the market will take out this low if we close below this candle. But if we don't close below it, higher prices taking out all these highs. Let's see JPY index. JPY index, higher prices did not really trade down to the key level spotted here, but then price respected this other block. I think it was a good one as price had to take out this inducement here. So let's see weekly time frame. Okay, weekly close heavily bullish, violating this fair value gap. So think more higher prices for GBP GPY, and that should be the same for CAD GPY. If this is what is happening for GBP GPY and CAD GPY, it means definitely that GPY index will likely be moving lower down to the fair value gap we spotted the last time. So price respected this fair value gap and then we trading back lower. So there's a likelihood price is going to be coming down to this fair value gap. And if this is to happen, then we have higher prices on CAD GPY moving up to this fair value gap as well. And then same thing with GBP GPY, we're going to also have higher prices. Okay, let's quickly look at Bitcoin. All right, so Bitcoin, 1 week time frame, we are still heavily bullish. You can see price retested this other block, and this is where we are. So daily time frame, price is accumulating. At this point, I just see more higher prices from here. Remember, we talked about these economical events, and there's a likelihood that after Trump, there will be more higher prices. So after this accumulation, we'll continue higher. We're likely to have a breakout to the upside. All right, so guys, I think that is it for today. If you have any question, you can let me allow you to unmute yourself. How about GU? We already talked about GU, right? We already talked about GU. So if you have any question, the lesson will be available tomorrow morning. If you have a question, you can ask. If you have a question, you can unmute yourself now and then we'll talk about it. Anything you want to ask me?
He's starting to build off some sort of plot to hold the ball better to allow Bruno Fernandes and Ahmad Garnacho to get closer to him.
Mr. Coach Bevito, good evening, one of our senior traders. the coach himself. Please, if you have a question, you can ask before our time is almost up. Please, do we trade all USD pairs what's happening with the US index? Yeah, but the correlation percentage differs. Okay, the correlation percentage differs. The only pair that is highly correlated with DXY negatively is Euro USD. Then second is GBP USD, third is uh, Australian dollar, fourth is New Zealand dollar. This means when the XY is going up, they are going down. So, all right. So you just use it to have that correlation differences to help you. If the XY is gaining strength, likely it will cause the Euro USD pair to be dropping. Thank you, boss. I enjoyed the call for the short time I joined. All right, so thank you very much for joining. Thank you so much. Let me stop recording.